Hey, everybody. Looks like there's a little slow reaction. Welcome to LKM Kingdom Living Leslie's Lessons Learned. And my name is Leslie Montgomery, and I'm here today. Almost forgot. Today is Thankful Tuesday, a moment of inspiration. And this morning I was speaking to some friends, and somehow we got on talking about Abraham and we were talking about the feast, and then we were talking about Abraham and Isaac, and there, it blessed me so this morning, since we always want to stay encouraged and we don't want things to overtake us. And as I was reading it, and I'm just going to read this, first of all, in Exodus 32 in verse 1, and then I'm going to go to where I want to go to. It says, "And when the people saw that Moses, which is Moshe, delayed," I think I'm in the wrong place. Yeah, I'm in the wrong place. Ah, it fell apart. So anyway, I'm going to talk to you a minute about. I got to be in Genesis. That might work. Talk to you this morning about Yahweh will provide. And in Genesis, the 21st chapter, it talks about the provision of the Lord. It's 22, actually. And one of the first things I've noticed, and we've gone, was in Genesis. We've been in Genesis for years. We're now in Exodus, but I never paid this any mind. And it's something how you could read something over and over and never really pay it any mind. But in Genesis, the 22nd chapter, in the first verse, it says, "And it came to pass after these things that Elohim did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Behold, here am I." So he's getting his attention, and he's telling him that he wants to sacrifice. He wants him to take his son to sacrifice his firstborn. And we know that Ishmael was his firstborn, but Isaac was his first chosen one that was born. So Abraham agrees and says he's going to do what the father has assigned him to do. So on their way, they are walking, and Isaac is checking things out. And Isaac Isaac wasn't a little boy. Most people thought he was a little boy, but he was kind of grown there about around now. And when he gets to, he says to his father, he says, Father, and in verse chapter Genesis 22 and 7, it says, "And Isaac says unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" And this is the part that really got me. And then Abraham said, and we talk about it all the time, said, My son, Elohim will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went to both of them together. So when I thought about it this morning, it struck me differently. And let me read some more. And it says, "And they came to the place which Elohim had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order and bound Isaac his son and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of Yahweh called upon unto him out of the heavens and said, Abraham, Abraham. Hallelujah. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest Elohim, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son from me. And when it says that Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in the thickets by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram, and offered him unto up for a burnt offering in the still instead of his son. When I read that today, it just hit me differently. And I thought about, then I start talking about Yahshua and how Yahshua was our ram in the bush, and how he came. He was our redeemer. He came that we might have a chance to the tree of life. But when I tell you, I really thought about this thing and it hit me way down inside. And I want to encourage you today that everything that's going on, everything around us that's going on that doesn't make sense. Look, it didn't make sense to Abraham, I'm sure, when he was going to sacrifice his son, but he was going to be obedient. It didn't make sense when people heard Yeshua or they saw him hanging on the cross on their behalf. Those things don't make sense. But what makes sense in all of it is that they were obedient, and because they were obedient, they saw the fruits of their labor. Abraham was obedient. He was being tested. We sometimes right now are in a place of being tested. And in that place of being tested is what will we do? Abraham could have said to his son, my son, you the sacrifice, but he didn't. He says, the Father I believe in and I trust in, he will provide. And I want to encourage you today that the one you trust, if you're trusting in Elohim, he promises to provide for you. You got to hold on. You got to hold out. And you got to see what the end is going to be. Abraham saw what the end was going to be. His end was more fruitful. His latter was greater than his beginning. And he was able to enjoy his son through the rest of his life, the fruits of his labor. He was able to enjoy it because he was obedient to the Father when the Father asked him to be. Can I encourage you today to be obedient? Can I encourage you today to stand on the word? Can I encourage you today that no matter what comes your way, that you can say, Yahweh will provide. Hallelujah. And when I thought about that thing, it brought me to tears. And I was trying to hold it together because I was talking to somebody, but it hit me differently today. Yeah, we read it. Yeah, he said, Abraham said, the Lord will provide, and we just keep going on and on. But that thing stuck with me today because what happened was I began to see the evidence of the fruits of the labor of Abraham and different ones in the word, and the same Elohim. He says, I am the same yesterday and today and forevermore. He has not forgotten about you. He will not leave you out there. He will see you through. Trust him, believe in him, and do not doubt. Yeah, I'm a little late today. And I'm going to say good morning to some, good afternoon to others, and good evening to others. I'm glad that you're here, and I hope that this message encourages you to know that He is your provider, to know that He sees you right where you are. You might be somewhere crying because you don't know how He's going to make a way, but I promise you, He's going to make a way if you be still and wait on Him. It might be the ninth hour, some say, the 12th hour, some say, but He will come through in the nick of time. He knows right where you are, and He will never leave thee nor forsake thee. So as you go through the rest of the day, remember Yahweh will provide. And He has a ram in the bush for each and every one of us, and He will see you through. I promise you that if you trust in the Lord with all thy heart, lean not to thy own understanding, but in all thy ways, no matter what you're going through, bankruptcy, car repo, job layoff, not a good report from the doctor. I don't care what it is. The family is just chaos, and it's the Thanksgiving season, and you want to bring everybody together, and nobody wants to get together. Yahweh will see you through. I promise you, He'll make ways out of no ways. You when you least expect it. There used to be a show called Candy Camera, Camera, yeah, and the song was when you least expect it, you're elected, and something smile, you're on Candy Camera. And I want you to know today, when you least expect it, you're elected. He is going to see you through. Abraham didn't know how, but he knew he was going to. Oh my God. When I think about it, when I think about the goodness of Yahweh and all he's done for, I'm going to say me, the word says me, my very soul cries out, hallelujah. I thank Yahweh for blessing me. He's going to bless you. And in these last moments when you think he's not, he's going to see you through. So hold on. Depend on the word, stand on the word, take him at his word, follow his commandments, be obedient to his words, follow the instructions that he's given for you to follow, and he will see you through. Abraham passed the test. Will you? Have an amazing rest of the day, and remember, he loves you just enough to bring you out. Be blessed. Love you. See you on Thursday.